What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you an expanded Night March Zoroark deck that Azul, Garcia, Griego, I think, used in the San Jose Regionals. Yes, that was a while ago, but I've been doing really nothing but standard recently. I did one expanded and legacy every once in a while, but I haven't done much expanded, so I just decided to go into the San Jose regional deck lists and pick out the ones that I really wanted to use and which ones I thought would be fun. And this was the first one that popped out to me because I'll be honest, Night March is kind of my guilty pleasure deck. It's the deck that, like, I hate that I love it, you know? And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. And let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And also, if you are new to the channel, here at TTM, we are a collaborative channel where we don't just have the TCG content, which is why you clicked on this video. We also have content for draft format from myself, Crobat for the win, and Jolt. So if any of that interests you, please feel free to subscribe. And also check out our Discord that will be linked in the description, where we have channels where you can discuss all facets of Pokemon, whether that's TCG, draft format, or Smogon. And anyway, before I get into the deck, just want to go over the question of the day really quickly, and thinking about Night March, thinking about the fact that it is my guilty pleasure deck and was kind of a deck that undeniably just kind of ran the meta for a very long time. The meta was basically Night March and then decks that could beat Night March. That was pretty much what the meta was for a pretty solid while. And so it got me thinking about the current state of the standard format and what types of decks are running rampant. And I'm thinking that the most prolific deck out there is Malamar, and Malamar types of decks like well, mostly a type of Necrozma and Malamar are the big ones that are used. And it got me thinking, is Malamar the new Night March? Is that what do you guys like agree with that? Do you guys disagree? Honestly, in my opinion, I think Malamar is very, very centralizing. Don't get me wrong, that card is insanely strong, particularly with the relatively slow nature of the meta. I mean, the meta is fast-ish, but the fact that getting a Malamar up is no big deal. You're not going to fall behind an insane amount. Your opponent's not going to get an insane setup in that amount of time. Just tells me that, yeah, Malamar is insanely centralizing right now and a very, very good deck, and other decks are having success, don't get me wrong. But I think in the standard format, Malamar is very, very strong, and the decks that are currently having success are mainly featuring Malamar. So my question for you guys, is Malamar the new Night March? Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree and why. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Night March, but also paired with Zoroark-GX. I mean, Zoroark is one of those cards that, like, any single deck that has DCE in it, you can run Zoroark, and lo and behold, Night March only runs DCE. So Zoroark is a natural fit. Also, it's great at discarding cards from the hand, which Night March loves, just getting Night Marchers into the discard pile as quickly and consistently as possible. Zoroark is just one more way to be able to do that, and so the combination of these two is very, very strong, and I'm seeing why Azul was able to do as well as he did with this deck list. I've tested it out, and I really didn't need to test it that much just to get a feel of it, because, I mean, this deck is so insanely consistent and so insanely strong. I mean, Night March in itself is great, but add another card that really just adds to consistency, does not take away much consistency at all. In fact, I would actually, well, obviously Zoroark helps this deck more. I mean, just another card that can attack, is not knocked out in one hit, attacks for a DCE, and also just adds consistency and keeps you from getting screwed over by a late game N. That makes Night March that much stronger, in my opinion. So we're just going to go over the numbers of Mons and what they do for the deck, just starting with Shaymin. Shaymin with the setup ability. This card has fallen out of favor quite a bit in the expanded format, as Shaymin's just easily picked off. It's easily one-shot by Zoroark, which is a lot of places in the meta right now. But the setup ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. That's great for the first turn explosion that Night March likes to do. Just get as many Night Marchers in the discard pile as quickly as possible. Shaymin allows you to just draw through more cards, mill cards out of your deck, just get more resources for that turn 1 explosion that Night March likes to do. So that's why there are more Shaymin than Lele, but there's also one Lele just because grabbing that one supporter is sometimes invaluable and a lot of times can win you the game in some situations. 2-2 of Zorua and Zoroark. Don't want to run too many as it might clog up, but 2 is just enough to have them when you need them. 1 Marshadow as another Night March style attacker. This one is able to one-shot Zoroark, which can give this deck a very hard time if the opposing Zoroark deck is able to set up, as we will be trading prizes, and in some cases we're not able to knock out Zoroark, or we have to have a lot of Night Marchers in the discard pile in order to one-shot a Zoroark, so Marshadow's able to help with that, as well as Darkrai, which could also be a problem, as well as Night Spear can take 2 prizes, and Night March is all about the prize trade. Absolute max number of each of the Night Marchers, 444 of Joltik, Pumpkaboo, and Lampent, and yeah, that's it for the Pokemon. As for the items, for Battle Compressor, we want the absolute max number so that we can mill through the deck, throw Night Marchers in the discard pile, throw supporters in the discard pile, and in a situation where you have like a Dowsing Machine in your hand or double Puzzle of Time, you can throw resources that you want to get immediately into your discard pile, and then Dowsing Machine or double Puzzle to get those into your hand. It's a kind of cheeky way to get things like a Dimension Valley or a DCE from the deck into your hand, just by getting them into the discard pile and then recurring them. 1 Field Blower, only 1 because we really don't rely so much on abilities. I mean, we definitely still do, don't get me wrong, but not as much as you would necessarily think, so we don't just absolutely need Garbotoxin to be shut off all the time. And then Choice Bands can be annoying for things like Zoroark and Marshadow. 4 Puzzle of Time to recur things from the discard pile, and also our ace-back of choice as opposed to Computer Search is Dowsing Machine, because this deck does run through resources like crazy, and the discard pile is often a resource more so than the deck, although, I mean, I guess they're both equally resource intensive. But usually with your explosion, like things like Shaymin and Zoroark, you're able to draw through your deck pretty consistently to where you're able to get the resources that you need when you need them. However, the discard pile is a resource that just the more we can recur things out of there, the better we will end up being. So that's why Dowsing Machine is used over Computer Search. 1 Special Charge, because this deck does rely on 4 Special Energy, and if we, or 4 DCEs, which are Special Energy. So if we have to get rid of them, then we kind of want them back, and also our Night Marchers are very frail, so they will get discarded with the Special Energy attached to them. 4 Trainer's Mail to help the milling process. 4 Ultra Ball, don't know why there's... should be the secret rare. I forgot to change that out when I imported, but whatever, we'll just live. Hope you guys forgive me for not using the secret rare Ultra Ball in this live. 4 VS Seeker to reuse these supporters. 2 Dimension Valley so that we actually can attack with our Pumpkaboo. In previous iterations, Pumpkaboo just hasn't been an attacker, it's mainly been Joltik. The Dreams, Memories of Dawn, Mew, and then Marshadow as well, but in this deck we rely on Pumpkaboo a little more as we are running a Zoroark, so we got a couple Dimension Valley to be able to do that. And then as for these supporters, man, I hate this new layout. Well, not new, it's been out for a while, but I hate this layout of the deck where you can't see everything all at once. 1 Ghetsis, as first turn Ghetsis can potentially destroy your opponent and be almost an auto win, just very strong, getting rid of items, putting your opponent in a bad spot while drawing you cards. 1/1 of Guzma and Lysandre, just because you don't know which situation you will need either, because I mean, there's some situations where you want a Guzma to switch out, but there are also some situations where, like, if you only have a Joltik active and a Pumpkaboo on the bench, you don't want a Guzma into your Pumpkaboo. You want a Lysandre to be able to just give you more flexibility in terms of either switching out or just bringing something up. 1 Hex Maniac to shut off things like, well, I'm trying to think, what is the one, well, like Xurkitree, because otherwise Xurkitree would just stop this deck cold. There's another Pokemon that is completely immune to damage done by DC. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I'm drawing a complete blank. I know Xurkitree is one, but there's another one that used to drive Night March and mad. But can't remember. So yeah, Hex Maniac is there for that, and also just shutting off abilities. 1/3 of N and Sycamore, more Sycamore because we like to discard stuff and get a fresh hand, as many cards as possible. 1 Teammates because our Pokemon are going to get knocked out quite a bit, so just being able to search our deck for like a DCE and a Choice Band or something to that effect, or like a DCE and another VS Seeker to be able to use Teammates again next turn. Just searching through our deck, very strong. 1 Choice Band, 1 Float Stone for the free retreat, Choice Band for the extra damage, and with things like Dowsing Machine and Puzzle of Time, we're able to run lower counts of Choice Band because we are able to recur that pretty easily, and then 4 DCE because that's what the deck runs on. So yeah, that is it for the deck list. I'm done rambling. Let's go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Freaky? I don't even know. Froiki, there we go. Actually, that's probably even more wrong than anything else I said. But we do win the coin flip, and we will want to go first. I mean, this could just speak to my inexperience with Night March, but whenever I play Night March, unless I know that it's against either a Trevenant deck or an opposing Night March deck, I will more often than not want to go first, just because it gives me more opportunities to get more Night Marchers in the discard pile, more opportunities to get a better setup. And then against certain decks, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm not going to do that against Night March or Trevenant, just because against Night March you want to take the first knockout, because he who takes the first knockout gets the win, basically. And then against Trevenant, they can get a turn 1 item lock, and I really don't want that going. But against opposing Night March, it's really not something, or against any other deck, I do just want to try to go first. So, unfortunately, I start with Double Puzzle. Now, Double Puzzle is amazing, except when you start with it, and in this case, I really don't want to do that. My opponent does play the Lele. Let's just go ahead and battle Compressor, get rid of 2 Lampent for sure, and then maybe a Sycamore, I think, for later. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Ultra Ball, get rid of the Hex Maniac and the Marshadow. Because we saw that this is a Psychic and normal deck, I'm really not thinking that Marshadow is going to be particularly helpful, as it does have the ability to get one hit knocked out by my opponent's Psychic Mons. So yeah, with this next Battle Compressor, I'm just going to throw even more Night Marchers in the discard pile. My Dowsing Machine is there, and oops, I'm running the non-secret rare Ultra Ball. Oh well, it's not a huge deal, but I mean, just something that I normally, yeah, I mean, I mean, I have the secret rare Ultra Ball. You guys have seen me use it before. I just imported this deck and then forgot to, and then was able to change everything else out except for that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is throw a Joltik, and because I have the Dimension Valley, I'm actually gonna. Yeah, because I have the Dimension Valley, Pumpkaboo is actually going to be a viable attacker. So let's go ahead and throw Lysandre and a Teammates in the discard pile. I'm going to keep the Guzma in the deck. That way I can have access to it later if I need it. And then, do I want to double puzzle just yet? I don't think so. So let's Shaymin for 2. And then see what I get. Get a Float Stone and a Zoroark. I can work with that. And then I think... Do I want to double puzzle for another Battle Compressor and a Trainer's Mail? I think that's what I want to do. Let's go ahead and Puzzle of Time actually grab another Joltik, because... Yeah, let's grab another Joltik, because if my opponent gets even just a DCE onto the Lele, he will be able to knock me out in one hit, and I don't want to have to put up my Zorua or a Shaymin, and I even get a Dimension Valley, so that's pretty nice to say the least. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to hold on to the Float Stone, because whatever I put up, I can just throw the Float Stone onto, so that I will have that free retreat. And yeah, so I mean, pretty solid first turn, not the best in the world, but I mean, it's a first turn that you would, if you would have told me that's what I would get, I'd be like, you know what, I'm okay with that. And then that's also another reason why I like going first in Night March, is because yes, you can get the first attack off, but normally in your first turn you're able to hit for like only 120, 140 damage usually, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still amazing. Like 2 energy, 140, like that's phenomenal. That is beyond phenomenal. But just the fact that Night March really relies on the prize trade and trading one prize attackers for EX attackers, EX and GX attackers, then you really want to take big one-hit knockouts. Like, that's what this deck is centered around. And if you're not able to take big one-hit knockouts, you're putting yourself at a detriment. So that's really not something I want to do. My opponent does grab 2 Rayquazas, which is okay with me. Rayquaza could be annoying, but I mean, they are weak to Joltik, so let's go ahead and do that. Is there anything that I want to get? It's actually Ultra Ball. I don't think I need the Float Stone for the time being. I can always just grab that later if I want it. Let's grab a Pumpkaboo. Or do I want to grab another Zorua? Let's actually grab another Zorua. Because if I can get the double trade going with Zoroark, then that will just be exactly what I need in order for this game to really, really just fully swing my way. And also, you know, I kind of needed the DCE because I wanted to, well, attack. So I'm going to go ahead and trade, get rid of one of the Joltiks, get a couple more cards. I get a double puzzle. Get another double puzzle, actually, which is amazing. I have plenty of Joltiks in the discard pile for my Night March to be a one-hit knockout. Or I have enough Night Marchers. It should do 240 against this, against this Rayquaza, able to take a knockout and get a prize of a Lampent, which is perfect because I can just get rid of that thing with a trade this coming turn, which is quite frankly beautiful and is perfect for this deck. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for. He will be able to knock me out with Lele, but all I have to do is just Puzzle of Time or double puzzle to get my choice band back, and he doesn't even get rid of my hand either, so that's even better for me because that will allow me to put up my Joltik. And yeah, that's the exact thing that I need in order to take the knockout on my opponent's Lele. And yes, he can knock me out with Rayquaza, but I really don't think that that's going to be sufficient for him winning the game. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just grab the choice band and the double colorless. I mean, no use not recurring double colorless when you can, because everything in this deck relies on it. So let's just choice band up, and then let's trade, get rid of the Lampent, as that is going to be doing absolutely nothing for me except just sitting nicely in the discard pile. Let's trade once again, let's get rid of the Field Blower, because the Battle Compressor can be used to thin my deck a little bit more if I want. And then I even have the what is that? The Dowsing Machine. There we go. Sorry, I was like, computer search. No, that's not computer search. It's running Dowsing Machine. There we go. So I can get a Teammates. And even though I have everything I need, I mean, there's no point in wasting an opportunity to Teammates if you have it. Like, you can just get any 2 cards from your deck, and like that'll just set me up perfectly for next turn. So let's go ahead and play the Pumpkaboo down. Already played the DCE. Let's Battle Compressor, see if I can get rid of anything else. Let's just get rid of the other Pumpkaboo for even more damage. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that should be sufficient for getting the knockouts that I need to win the game. So let's just go ahead and knock out my opponent's Lele with Joltik, get an Ultra Ball, and a Special Charge. That is fine with me. I can always just get rid of the Ultra Ball with my trade from Zoroark. And also, because I do have the trade, I will be able to... Actually, yeah, Rayquaza should be knocked out by my Zoroark if I have a full bench, so that's pretty solid for me. And my opponent actually is just going to attack my Joltik and then accelerate energy onto the Shaymin and take a prize. So even though we are technically even on prizes, I'm honestly way ahead in this game just because, I mean, I have everything I need. I could even Teammates once again, but there is no point. I want to save my VS Seekers for like Hex Maniac or Lysandre later if I need that. Let's go ahead and... yeah, let's Dowsing Machine, get rid of the Ultra Ball and the Sycamore to grab... let's get my Choice Band back. And then... let's energy up the Zoroark. Yeah, I need the Choice Band back so that I can one-shot the Shaymin without having to play a Shaymin of my own onto my side of the field. Just basically, like, it lets me knock out the Shaymin without not getting use out of my own Shaymin. So I'm not even gonna trade, because everything I have is stuff that I can use. And now with knocking out the Shaymin, I should be in a perfect spot to just win the game, as I do have a Pumpkaboo. I know there's another Dimension Valley in the deck. I have 2 trade Zoroarks, and he even gets rid of my DCE with an Enhanced Hammer. Rayquaza is gonna go down this turn. Like, there's no 2 ways about it, really. Like, Rayquaza's going down. It's getting knocked out by my Zoroark. Yeah, he can go for that all he wants, but it doesn't matter. DCE up this guy, play down the Shaymin just to get that final Pokemon onto the bench, and then we are able to Riotous Beating, not Righteous Beating. I've been saying that wrong for so long, and I'm probably going to continue to say it wrong. I do apologize, but it is Riotous Beating. Yeah, my bad on that. But yeah, we are able to take out the Rayquaza, and we are able to win the game, so we were not up against a particularly meta deck in that particular game, but we were still able to show off exactly what Night March does, show off what Zoroark brings to this deck, and I'm still very satisfied with how that game went for us. But regardless, that was a solid first one. Let's go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we've got another one against Ibis Anita with a water and normal deck, so yeah, no idea what they're running. We will definitely find out soon. And we do win the coin flip, and seeing that as this is not Night March or Trevenant, I am definitely going to want to go first. And, you know, this isn't the worst starting hand in the world. Actually, this isn't a bad one, all things considered, because I will be able to get a Lele for a Sycamore. I'll be able to Battle Compressor some stuff, and I'll be able to throw, or I'll be able to get my DCE onto something, and we do see the Enhanced Hammer. That is actually very, very good to know this early, and it's a Silvally deck. Not sure exactly what type of Silvally, and we get a bunch of, yeah, we get a very nice amount of extra cards off of that. So what I'm going to do is play down the Joltik. Battle Compressor, get rid of a couple Lampent for sure. Yeah, let's just get rid of all three, because, I mean, I do have another Battle Compressor. So let's Battle Compressor once again. Get rid of Pumpkaboo. I want to get rid of... Okay, so I do have 3 DCEs in the deck. That is, I mean, good to know that none of my DCEs are prized. What else do I want to get rid of? Let's get rid of one of the Lysandre and the Guzma. Let's get rid of the Lysandre and a Sycamore. Let's go ahead and do that. Ultra Ball, get rid of the Pumpkaboo and the Lampent. I just want to get a bunch of Night Marchers in the discard pile as quickly as possible. I mean, we do see that this is Sylveon, or this is Glaceon, which is going to shut off my Zoroark and Lele's abilities. But at the same time, I'm okay with that. I'm relatively okay with that, just because, I mean, I'll still get those out. They'll still be able to be tanky mons that Riotous Beating like crazy. And yeah, I'm able to get rid of 2 Evo Sotos and an Enhanced Hammer. That Enhanced Hammer in particular is awesome. And the question is, do I want a Puzzle of Time? There's 6 in the discard pile. I think I'm just going to hold on to my Puzzle of Time. If I need to, I can try to dig a little bit. And yeah, I did go for the Ghetsis over the Hex. Actually, I don't remember if I saw the Hex. But I mean, I was, in my mind, I was going straight for that Ghetsis so I could try to put my opponent down, and I mean, my opponent just ends up getting those cards back with the Lily. Because so turn 1 Ghetsis, unless your opponent has a supporter in hand or they draw into one, they're screwed. Like a turn 1 Ghetsis can just completely screw over a deck. And yes, my opponent immediately does get the Glaceon. He's immediately going to shut off my Zoroarks. That's honestly okay with me, all things considered. Wait, what? Goes into... That's weird. And I actually top deck into the Puzzle of Time. So, I mean, that's beautiful for me. This way I can get rid of enough stuff to where I'm... Yeah, this way I can get rid of enough stuff to where I'm able to one-shot this Keldeo, assuming I draw into a Dimension Valley, which, I mean, oh, there's only 1 in the deck. That's not good. Let's get rid of 2 Joltik. That would be 8. Need to get rid of 1 more. And let's get rid of a 3rd Joltik, because Joltik will just be sniped by Frostbeer from Glaceon, so I really don't want to deal with that. And so let's get rid of... No, I don't want to get rid of that. Let's get rid of... Let's put a Teammates and an N in there. I want to keep the Guzma in the deck because I already have Lysandre in the discard pile. And... yeah, let's just get rid of another Battle Compressor. I really don't need it all that much. So let's DCE up the Pumpkaboo, evolve into Zoroarks, and then Sycamore, hopefully draw into that... Crap. So what I should have done was just DC'd up the Joltik. But instead, what I'm doing is... let's get rid of the Puzzle of Time. Yeah, the single puzzle and the battle compressor. I need to dig a little bit, because what I could have done is just attached to the Joltik and then banked on getting the Float Stone, but I guess it was like a crapshoot on what I would get. And no, I don't need another DCE. I have all four DCEs either in my hand or in play now. And yep, so not a single Dimension Valley, or no way to get a Dimension Valley. And that blows. Like, quite frankly, that kind of blows. Just the fact that I had the one Dimension Valley. I mean, it was either attached to the Joltik Prey drawn to my one Float Stone, or attached to the Pumpkaboo, and hope that I'm somehow able to draw into my Dimension Valley. And so I thought the Dimension Valley was a little bit more likely for us to be able to get. But unfortunately, that's just not how it goes. My opponent is able to get a Silvally up. If he has a DCE, he will be able to. Yes, he does. Able to knock out both my Pumpkaboo and my Joltik. And that sucks, but what this does mean is I'll be able to get my Dimension Valley. And I have to be careful now. I have to be really careful because... oh boy. Yeah, I have to be very careful because I'm running low on Night Marchers. Let's go ahead and attach a DCE to the Pumpkaboo. And very glad that I put my teammates into the discard pile when I did. Just because now I can just go ahead and teammates, grab that frickin' Dimension Valley that was nowhere to be seen earlier. And do I want to just grab the Dowsing Machine, or do I want to grab Marshadow so that I have more Night Marchers available to me? Because my opponent can't... my opponent will not be able to knock out this Pumpkaboo this coming turn, I don't think. So... it's kind of what I'm going to bank on. Let's play down the Marshadow. How many DCEs? There are 2 DCEs, so let's just go ahead and put both of those back with my Special Charge in case my opponent plays like a Rogue Seismitoad or something. And we are able to knock out my opponent's Glaceon with a Night March, take 2 prizes, see what we can get. We get 2 Shaymins. Not what I wanted at all, but there you are. There you both are. I could have used you earlier. Thanks for being late to the party, guys. Always great to have you as usual. But, I missed that my opponent has an energy on the Silvally. So he's going to be able to knock out my Pumpkaboo, and that will be literally all of my Night Marchers. So that is very not good. Very glad that I played down the Marshadow, because I will be able to one-shot this Silvally with Marshadow, although granted it could have been with any given Night Marcher that I would have been able to knock it out. But regardless, we still are okay with the situation that we are in. And I'm just kind of rolling with it at this point. My opponent was able to take 2 prizes early, able to get rid of a bunch of my Night Marchers. I was not able... well, I mean, I was able to respond immediately, and he is able to respond as well. But now, for me, I'm able to just put up my Pumpkaboo again, because, I mean, he took out the Marshadow. And... yeah, I mean, though, my other Dimension Valley's gone, so I'm having to double up on the energies, and then let's just end my opponent down to 2, because if he's able to bring up a Zoroark, I will lose the game, and then let's just hope that he's not able to knock out my Pumpkaboo, because now he's not able to attack. Like, now he won't be able to knock out my Pumpkaboo. And sorry, I was rambling while looking away for a second. My phone was buzzing and I was trying to see who it was, and then I missed that he Lysandred up my Marshadow at the time. But now, no way. You've got to be kidding me. I end him into a DCE and a Max Elixir, which he hits. That is annoying. That is so annoying. Ah, crap. Well, now I'm literally just going to have to wait on... yeah, I'm just going to have to 2-shot the Keldeo. So that's annoying. Sorry for that sound. That was me, I don't know. But yeah, that was... oh, that is so annoying, and my Marshadow is gone. And so what am I going to do? So I have to get... Yeah, you know what? I'm getting rid of VS Seeker. Getting rid of VS Seeker to grab another Shaymin. Let's grab that. Let's Trainer's Mail, see what we can get. We get a Field Blower, and I need a DCE. So let's get rid of the Choice Band for sure, and the Rough Seas. And then I think let's trade, get rid of the Sycamore, because, man, I want to end him and Hex Maniac in the same turn. But I need that DCE, so I gotta get that DCE somehow. And I find, oh, that was nice, but I mean, I still had the Shaymins to be able to draw into it. So yeah, let's just Shaymin for 2 cards. Get a Choice Band, which can actually come in handy. That way Rough Seas can't potentially put me out of the game. Let's Trainer's Mail for a Dowsing Machine, and the last DCE is right there in the deck. And yeah, let's Hex Maniac. I mean, my opponent has a full hand, but at least I can keep them from using Octillery. I can keep any other, like, Shaymin shenanigans going. Do I want to do this or end? Okay, so yeah, let's Hex Maniac. I have to at this point. Now let's go for a Riotous Beating. Put the Keldeo in range of getting knocked out next turn. And I admit I overextended quite a bit by getting rid of so many Night Marchers early. And that is really just where my inexperience with the deck comes into play. I mean, a good Night March player knows exactly what to go for and when to go for it, or how many Night Marchers to get into the discard pile at one point. And that was just me being a little bit overzealous in this part of the game. And my opponent does attach to an Eevee and can't evolve with Energy Evolution thanks to my Hex Maniac. So very glad that I played that down. Did not want to be having to deal with. And of course he plays the Gold Potion. Are you kidding me? Seriously, and he draws into his A-Spec. That is stupidly annoying. I'm sorry, but that is annoying. Oh my gosh. Of course my opponent plays Gold Potion, and of course they are able to draw into it with right about half their deck left. Like, that's... I mean, there's nothing I can do about that, and luckily I did have the last VS Seeker for an N. But now... yeah, that's annoying. That is super ridiculously annoying. And Dowsing Machine, it can get a Trainer. Ooh. You can get a Trainer. Okay, yes, I know that I can't attach energy. This is what happens when you have to uninstall and reinstall. It's like, okay, you're new to the game. Here's all this stuff. Are you sure you don't want to attach energy? Yes, that was the point of the turn. And now my opponent is able to get the Energy Evolution. And is he going to be able... oh, no. If he can use GX attack... oh, thank the Lord. Oh, thank the Lord that Polar Spirit GX is 3 energy and not 2, because if he had that, then he would have been able to win, and he would have won off the fact that he plays frickin' Gold Potion. Oh, and I mean, Gold Potion is one of those things that you play instead of playing, like, Computer Search or Dowsing Machine. Actually, you could play Gold Potion in a deck, in, like, a Wailord deck, where you're just trying to stall and heal off damage, but even then, I think there's better stuff you can run. And, yep, okay, now that I have the Dowsing Machine, I can just go ahead and go into my discard pile, grab the Lysandre. I mean, if it did just allow me to get an item card, I would have just grabbed my VS Seeker and then grabbed a Lysandre. But yeah, we were able to Lysandre up the Keldeo, and my opponent forfeits before we were able to get that attack off. But still, that was a very, very good game. Ended up being a lot closer than I would have liked, but we are able to come out with the victory. Zoroark coming through clutch in the end. So, yeah, I mean, this is a Night March deck, but Night March with Zoroark, which actually turned out to be really fun and a really cool deck that I encourage you guys to try. Yeah, so that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.